Experience Africa's heartbeat.
The African Pulse.
A weekly broadcast that takes you across Africa.
Different topics.
Culture.
Tech. Health.
Economy.
And even politics.
The African Pulse.
Only on Ifrikya FM.
Greetings to you all, ladies and gentlemen across Africa, and welcome to a new episode of the African Pulse. The weekly broadcast which brings you a different topic to discuss with my fellow columnist colleagues. As for today's broadcast, we're going to delve deep into the heart of Africa's digital frontier. In a world where the battle against cyber adversaries rages on, Africa finds itself at a crucial crossroads, grappling with the evolving landscape of cyber threats. A recent report from the esteemed IBM X-Force team sheds light on the formidable foe of 2023 identity theft, as our identities become the currency of the digital realm. Understanding these threats becomes our first line of defense. As revealed in the X-Force report, cyber criminals have undergone a seismic shift in tactics, no longer relying solely on the brute force but targeting identities with alarming precision. And this shift necessitates a corresponding evolution in our response to cyber threats. With the rise of generative artificial intelligence, policymakers, business leaders, and cyber experts alike stand at critical juncture, balancing the boundless opportunities AI presents with the looming shadow of security risks. To discuss more details about all of that, I have the pleasure to have with me here in Ifrikya FM studios the Virnana Kwamina from Ghana. For the first time, I have the pleasure to have with me Yvonne Manyanda from Zimbabwe. Welcome with us here, Yvonne. Now, starting with our first segment, Unveiling Africa's Digital Frontier, I'm going to start with you, Nana. How has the identity theft emerged as a significant threat in Africa's digital landscape?
Well, I would like to preface this by saying identity theft is not a new thing. It's just that with the times it has evolved.
Yes, indeed.
With the increase in technology, it has become inevitable. The same way crime already existed, but we have a larger scale and there's a larger input due to increase in technology and access to weapons. Mm-hmm. You know, you made reference to the X-Force, IBM X-Force, yes. And they themselves that there has been an uptake in investment by criminals mm-hmm. in infrastructure, in helping to steal identities. So far, the internet has been the bigger factor. Mm-hmm. We're talking about an uptake since mm-hmm. 2006 to mm-hmm. 2010. We had West Africa alone had an increase in identity theft. Mm-hmm. There's a term that the Nigerians use. It's mm-hmm. called 419. Mm-hmm. It's based on a law against fraud, but it became there was such a sharp increase in identity theft mm-hmm. that became the nickname for the whole action. So if you ask any West African, mm-hmm. they will tell you, well, if you just say 419, they know what it means. They know it means fraud. They know it means identity theft. So we are talking about the reason why identity theft has increased to such mm-hmm. a scale is because of technology.
Unfortunately, this is very unfortunate. And I'm going to turn to you, Yvonne. Well, I'm going to ask from your point of view, from your opinion, what are some of the key tactics cyber criminals are employing as highlighted in this report as we previously read? So what do you think, or how do you think they are different from the previous methods?
I think that since digitization has become more common, cyber theft and cyber identity theft has become more increased because, as we can see, people are using social media more often, entering their data on websites, different websites for different reasons. And cyber thefts are increased because those who steal data on the internet are now using tactics where they can collect your information when you enter information on social media sites, websites. So it has proved to increase the rates of cyber theft.
Yeah, especially people when they are not careful.
Yeah, I would also like to add to that. The methods have increased. Initially, in the cases we've seen of cyber identity theft in the past, we've seen it through inaction, in-person action, where people would create fake personas and then entice the victims, start a conversation, get money here and there and whatnot. But now, with the introduction of the blockchain, just not Bitcoin alone, but cryptocurrency, back in the day, people, it was easy to trace money. By using the blockchain now, criminals don't necessarily, there were methods. Let me just back up a bit.
Okay.
So after people had stolen the money, taking money from you, they couldn't just transfer it to their accounts. So what these people used to do was they would use the money to buy products.
So it's kind of like money laundering.
Yeah, exactly. Even in the streets, it's called, the term is called shopping. Basically, you take money from your victims, but if you transfer it to your account, it's easily traceable. So people would buy, like you said, launder the money. But now we have the blockchain. I take money, I put it on the blockchain. Now we have methods of tracking it, but then again, the methods have changed. So we're talking about the methods here. We have phishing, where people would pretend to be use emails and pretend to be companies, and then take vital information, hijack.
It's very common, actually.
Yes.
Even like through WhatsApp, they can even send you some links. The moment you click, that would get all your data.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really dangerous.
We also have ransomware now, where it's basically malware.
Yeah.
The companies will take in this malware, and then intellectual property is stolen, and for you to get it back, you have to pay a certain amount to a certain account, and most of the time the criminals use the blockchain nowadays. So the sophistication and methodology have changed and have increased in order to be able to invade the authorities.
Yes, but currently we can notice that the artificial intelligence is getting in many fields. That includes the cybersecurity. So in what way does the adoption of artificial intelligence pose both opportunities and challenges for Africa's cybersecurity landscape? And how are the stakeholders navigating this delicate balance?
Well, we're talking about AI can adapt. AI can learn. AI can take the data and then execute a plan. So the reason for using AI in cybersecurity is to increase the time of response of how am I going to say, the response time. It's to time it better, and also to safeguard, because human error is a thing. But with we are trying to use AI to fill in the gaps.
Okay.
And to also increase the response time as well. But I feel there are disadvantages to using AI as well. You know, as AI can adapt, but humans too adapt. And there are flaws, because if you attack the system, you attack the AI, that could be a disadvantage. And over-reliance on AI could also be a huge disadvantage for us. You know, that's why cybersecurity is a huge field, because we learn. Their job is to learn to adapt to the new landscape. We didn't know what ransomware was a decade ago.
Yes, it keeps getting new methods every year. Like we can see this development, not even every year. It's like every certain period of time, like maybe months. We can never know. They always discover something new in cybersecurity, like maybe fixing new loopholes, maybe creating new laws. Nobody can truly know. It just keeps getting like forward and forward and forward.
Yeah, but also I would like to add to that AI, as long as AI has an ability to be automated for responsive tasks. So as long as the attack method does not change, I mean, once you set it up, that could be an advantage. So you don't have to have 50 men trying to do the same activities or the same tasks. But then again, we also have to be careful not to be over-reliant on AI.
Indeed, Nana, I agree with all of that. Now, after this little music break, we're going to delve into the second segment of this broadcast, so stay tuned.
I'm from outer space, I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away, I'm illuminated, I'll make a move, start a waves. I've been dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the praise they wanna co-sign. Artificially intelligent AI, I'm your future, past and present, I'm a fine line. Yeah, I'm a missile of this illusion. I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't swim or sink, I just float. I don't need gravity, I just need growth. When I move, it's an earthquake rumble. I won't ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble. I could go higher, past the stratosphere, I could catch fire. I could go hard, I don't even need to try. Star blood, I don't ever get tired. Predestined, written in stone. I feel it coming in, I feel it in my bones. Heavily protected, never alone. Tapped in, I'm connected to the unknown. It's an earthquake rumble. I won't ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble. When I move, it's an
Welcome back, dear listeners. Now starting this second segment titled Africa's Resilience in the Face of Adversity. Amidst the tumult of cyber threats, a glimmer of hope shines through. Africa emerges as a beacon of resilience. Despite the continents bearing the lightest burden of cyber attacks compared to other regions, vigilance remains paramount. The battle against cyber threats knows no bounds and compliancy to our greatest enemy. As we navigate the digital frontier, let us arm ourselves with knowledge, unity, and unwavering resolve. Together, we shall conquer the digital battlefield, safeguarding our identities and securing our future. However, there are still some questions that we need to ask. So how does Africa's resilience in the face of cyber threats compare to other regions, Anna?
Well, earlier on you made mention of the fact that most of the attacks are not within Africa.
Yes. You can notice like there is a large number in Europe or in Asia.
Yeah, even following the X-Force reports, you find out that Saudi Arabia and UAE have been the most impacted by these cyber security attacks.
Yes.
But when you talk about the African resilience, I would like to talk from the perspective of West African.
Okay.
And so, as initially I told you about the 10419.
Yes.
I told you that we know that they've existed. There's even a song back in 2006. It's called Yahoo. It's Yahoo boys were those individuals, those scammers that used to use emails as a point of attack, as a point of ransom or as identity theft. Sorry, but why do we know all this? Is because it didn't affect us in totality. Now there has been an uptake in attacks à domicile, at home. But the African resilience was, for me, as West Africans, we just ignored it because we did not have the awareness. We did not have the tools, and we did not have the need to. Because even when it was at home, it didn't affect the many.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's like this, you know. We as Africans, and it's no shade to anyone, but we tend to assimilate with a lot of problems, you know. We're used to individuals are used to the countries not having 24-hour lights. Individuals are used to corruption. It's not that we don't care. It's just that at the end of the day, there's never been a solution that has ever been implemented. Exactly.
It makes sense.
So the African resilience is just coping with cybersecurity attacks. That's why I just want to say we've coped with them. But I think now is a turning point for most African countries.
Indeed it is, since everybody starting getting adapt to it and evolve when it comes to cyber threats. Or I'm going to turn to you, Yvonne. So what do you think about this?
I think as we are trying to adapt and to cope with it, we're still facing some challenges, such as limited resources. Many African countries have limited resources and limited infrastructure and training and technology comparing to wealthier regions like the European countries and more countries. So the fact that we don't have much resources is slowing the process of adapting to this
to this whole to this whole matter. However, I'm not sure about whole North Africa, but I'm pretty sure about Algeria. So when it comes to cybersecurity threats, Algeria established like many laws, many restricting laws about this, and it's actually cybersecurity. Any identity theft, any data like personal data theft is considered a breach of the law, and it's under the criminal law.
I understand you. We have laws as well, but how often do you catch? You know,
actually, you'd be pretty surprised. In Algeria, you'd be pretty surprised. I didn't like quite know this before, but I know this person who, like, this case actually happened in my circle. You see, so there was this person who had her identity theft. Okay, so her identity was stolen by an imposter, and her data as well, and it was like a mess. But once she reported her case, in a very short period of time, they were able to catch the person, and that person was jailed. So when it comes to this, I was surprised, but actually the law sometimes can be like really strict.
Yeah, I understand. Like I told you, 419 is a law against fraud. Back in Nigeria, we also have similar laws back at home as well. Like my colleague here mentioned, it's we don't have the infrastructure. Most of the time, I've seen frauds being caught. It's investigations appear on foot investigations, but individual organizations as well that work with the government. But we're talking about if we are supposed to be resilient as a region, then there must be a global collaboration.
Of course, collaboration and cooperation are key points.
That is what we don't see so far. So for us, like I said, it's coping. We've just managed to cope with it, and then individuals have taken steps. VPNs, you have your malware, you have your antivirus software against your malware. You need to update. You have to take precautions on your identity. You don't just use your cards anywhere, because we have these things called skimmers, where they attach themselves to you know what you pay with the device you pay on when you want to use your card.
Yes.
So basically, it's a thin sheet of technology they place in between. So when you put your card in there, it just takes the information along with the password you would type on the pad. So we have now policies against skimmers, and individuals are taught to detect these things. So for resilience, it's coping, like I said, but it's also up to individual tact.
Yes, of course. But what I think that should be also fixed is not just that side. There are like two sides in the infrastructure that need to be fixed when it comes to cybersecurity.
Okay.
There is like the legal side.
Exactly.
And then there is the technical side.
Exactly.
When it comes
Through
to
infrastructure.
of course. So when it comes to the legal side, I believe that there should be like more restricting laws against any kind of cybersecurity threat.
True.
Not just identity theft, like, because personal data is very important, and not just identity. I mean, like everything, like money accounts, address, pictures, whatever it is, you name it. Your data has to be secure. So I believe that should be more restricting law across Africa, like all of it. And then there is the infrastructure. The other side of the infrastructure that need to be fixed is the technical side, meaning there should be like more firewalls to protect the privacy.
Of course.
Yeah, so this is something I think the governments need to work on, plan to create something that could protect the privacy of its citizens when it comes to cybersecurity.
Yeah, like you said, through policies, you have to make the companies and banks responsible to protect your identity and your personal data.
It's high time they would move and do something similar. It's like this is actually the right time. So I'm going to ask another question here. In what ways can individuals and organizations contribute to bolstering Africa's cybersecurity resilience, and what role does unity play in this endeavor?
Number one, encrypting information. You
Yes,
need to encrypt your information.
I agree.
You know, any app that doesn't have encryption software should not be an app you should use.
Yes, because end-to-end encryption is like safeguarding your personal information. That's really critical. That's very important. What do you think, Yvonne?
I think that we should be able to share threats, sharing threat intelligence. If you see a threat like the scammers going online, you should inform each other about those things.
This could be an idea, like sharing the information about the threat.
Yes.
This could be an idea as well.
And also update your software as an individual person. It's also right that you take into account cybersecurity threats. We are in the age of technology. Yes. Everyone uses their phone. You use the internet. You make your transactions on the internet. So at the end of the day, software updates and invest in antiviruses as well.
Yes, and also getting education about cyber crimes
and being careful with your data as well.
Yes, I agree with all of that. This was very, very interesting to gather all this information. Thank you, Yvonne, for your thoughts that you shared with us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Nana.
Thank you for having me again. And
to our listeners, thank you for staying tuned with us. If you want to recap, please don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, Radio Ifrikya FM, and also through our app on Play Store, Ifrikya FM. One last reminder to you, I was happy to have with me again Divir Nana Kwamina from Ghana and Yvonne Manyanda from Zimbabwe. Thank you, dear listeners. Stay informed, stay on our wave. Until next time, this is Emmanuel tuning out. Till eternity, take girls, get me penny B. Bravo Basabi, Basto na client in Ibetia. Yatia Gumana G side bay and Baba Kubidi Besia. Unya Juma, what they call Winya
Sama Fama, client I promise to Jimmy Onyanji, I am Fankasa. Akumati amaje medo man kwa wasutura maje race color 120 means a bomb kwandi amaje dropping on the low location unknown yet bam na mo bete bench ya beje yahoo for a nice and cool yahoo for a nice and cool. Oh yeah, how they rich I feel but global boy will be fucking rich. Yes, I said it, I'm claiming it. Don't say I said local, baby bitch. As a man here offer, it's your tiano. Don't play with my money, Sika put on a me shentina da na me teteno. Clients na me kike, Juma kese na me sheshe. Biggie vest, biggie money, postpaid, getting money. France, Juma ba getting money. Getting money, yahoo, for all nice and cool.